It's just flying. It is July and it is another Saturday and we're going to do us a video right here. Hey, Jean, you even got here early. Yay. Thank you so much for spending part of your weekend with me. I appreciate that. Let me just do a quick refresh to be sure I'm seeing what's really going on on my screen. And I do believe I'm going to go ahead and just get a drink right this second. Hey, Rosie. Thank you for coming. All right, so this is the card that I gave you the sneak peek of. Hello, Lorraine. Hi, Marva and Debbie and Kathy. Appreciate y'all coming and spending part of your weekend with me. Did anybody know what we were working on tonight from the sneak peek? Anybody? Anybody? No? Hey, Cindy. Hello. Hey, Faith. Hi, Nancy. All right, so this is our card, and it uses a stamp set that you might have overlooked in the catalog. It's called Everyday Thanks, and obviously it is a way to thank teachers, medical, first responders. This is supposed to be like the light on top of a police car, although, you know, they use the light bars now, but this is an old-fashioned one, or maybe an ambulance, and coaches, things like that. But you've got thanks and thank you for everything you do. I really think it's very darling. So I used it and the gorgeously made dies. Hi, everybody. I appreciate y'all coming from the Netherlands. Thank you, so mother. Whoa, my brain just disconnected with, I had like pushed the clutch in on my mouth and I don't even know what happened. This is the gorgeously made die set. What's interesting is if you bought the bundle, the gorgeously made bundle right now, which is $50 and change, $52, and the Everyday Thanks set, and a pack of the Delightfully Eclectic DSP, you would be just over $100, which means you'd get 2 bonus days coupons, because bonus days is going on right now through the end of July. So do the things you can do to earn those $5 coupons to spend in August. So here's our card. I've got a little bit of bright and beautiful DSP on the back here. And then this is the Delightfully Eclectic with the gorgeously made die cut, and then some pencils. And then on the inside, some real simple pencil images. And of course, I did the envelope because, hello, no naked envelopes. All right, so let's get started. What we're going to do first is make our pencils, because in case you can't tell, they've got a little band of gold basic or metallic enamel effects, and that takes a second to dry. So we're going to get those done so that they can be sitting and drying while we are doing the rest of the card. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to stamp the pencil 3 times in basic gray ink. 1, y 2, y 3. Okay. And you can color before you cut, or you can cut and then color, whichever works the best for you. I'm going to go ahead and color. I've got my ivory Stampin' blend, and I'm going to, that's going to be wood. So this is the wood portion of any good pencil. This is not a mechanical pencil, so you know it's going to have some wood in it, and that's this piece. And then we'll color each of the barrels. We're going to color with smoky slate. Okay, so this is like our watercolor pencils that have a dark outer layer. And then we're going to color pink, green, and yellow. All right, so here's my light smoky slate, and I'm just going to flood this. I'm not going to do a lot of coloring. For me, this set makes me think of a kid. This is what a kid would put on a card to his teacher, or a card to maybe the school nurse, whatever. To me, this is a kid's card, which means he wouldn't be doing a whole lot of blending, right? It would be more like coloring. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to color. And that idea is going to come out again when I make our sentiment, which you will see in just a momento. Okay, so then all 3 barrels like that. With the smoky slate in light. Yeah, this could be a very nice little Very nice little set to have for, now, I don't know. First off, I don't know. Do they still have school nurses? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. But my mom was a school nurse in a high school when I was growing up. It was actually right across the street, and in the summers we would go there and swim at the high school pool. So she was the school nurse, which was its own set of fun, I'm certain. I mean, but goodness gracious, that was back. Ooh, dog. That would have been back in like the 70s. So times they were different then. Okay, so now I'm going to do one with my dark lemon lolly, and I'm just going to color the lead. And this would usually be the eraser, but it's going to be part of the coloring because I wanted to have a little more of the color, right? And then school nurses are here, but maybe not in the Netherlands or France. Gotcha. And we're going to do bubble bath, and this is the dark bubble bath blend. I tried a couple of iterations before I landed on this. So this is the one I ended up liking. And then I'm going to use the light Parakeet Party blend. So this little tiny human who's making this card is coloring in green and yellow and pink. All right, there we go. Now, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut these real quick. And then we'll put our metallic elements on, and they can sit quietly aside and dry. All right. So this is a pretty easy fussy cut. I'm doing a hard fussy cut, which means I'm right on the edge of the stamped image. I'm not leaving a border as if it was a die cut. Okay, I'm cutting it slap out. And this is a great time to practice your technique. So you can see I'm balancing the scissors on these two fingers underneath the piece of cardstock and then holding with my thumb and forefinger. And when I do turn, I am turning the paper. You see that? I'm not turning the pencil. I know I do say this every time, but I think it's worth repeating. And I'm keeping that paper right back against the fulcrum of the scissors. Okay, so there's one out of the way. And then we'll get the second and third one gone. I hope y'all have had a good weekend. We spent some time this morning out in the garden. We've decided to put in 3 more of the Kratky tubs. So we put some, that fabric that you put down to keep the weeds out. This is the one that's too expensive because nobody wants to use that very much, but it's the only one that actually keeps the weeds out. So we put some of that down. And then we went to Tractor Supply. Finn was very happy to go to Tractor Supply. He was ready to have an outing. And we went over and got 2 squash plants and a rosemary and an Italian parsley. So we're going to put 2 of the herbs, the 2 herbs in one tub, and the squash will each get their own tub. And we're just gonna, it's a little bit of an experiment because I'm not really sure, to be quite honest, I'm not really sure how any of it's gonna work. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm really tired of fighting fire ants, and that just seems to be the thing when you're playing in dirt in the South, and I'm tired of it. So we're kind of playing around with some different ideas. Okay, so there's the 3 of them, all fussy cut. See how easy? And I'm gonna take this gold metallic effects. Hey, Annika, I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh, dear. Hopefully you will continue to feel better yet. And I'm going to just make a very fine line, as straight as I can, right there at the band. That would have been a kind of a goldish band. It might not have been raised, but it is for this card. You know why? Because these aren't real pencils, people. They're cards. Okay. There we go. This does take a second to dry, so be careful. This is a good thing to do like first as you make your card. so that you can, there we go. All right, I'll put my lid on. And then I'm going to set these out of the way where I have little to no chance of bumping them before they get dry. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So while we're waiting, let's go ahead and build our card front. I'm cleaning off that pencil die or stamp die, and I'm going to use a piece of Bright and Beautiful DSP. You can see what was on the other side, and this is in Bubble Bath. And I'm going to take some Bubble Bath ink, and we're going to stamp kind of randomly around this. And I learned a little something. It's a triangle. If you make a triangle, you'll do okay. So I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to go down here, and then I'm going to make a triangle with these two. So right like here. And let's go ahead and change up the direction a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to move down the card front, and I'm going to make a triangle with these two. So 1, 2, 3 would be a good spot right there. And let's go ahead and put him down like that. And then we'll make another triangle here, like so. And I'm going to stop there because then I'm going to fill in some gaps with the little thanks sentiment. Are you going to see all of this? No, but it's there, and you'll know it's there. And you can actually see it from the edges, but I am kind of keeping the thanks out towards the edges because I know that they'll be covered up. There we go. There. Okay. Now, all I have to do is we're going to adhere this to a lemon lolly mat with liquid glue. You guys are having some heat over in the Netherlands, huh? Yeah, we feel you. But as you said, you guys are not used to it. Here in the South, we're tough. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, so that is adhered to our lemon lolly mat. Now, for the main kind of event here, this piece is from the Delightfully Eclectic set. Remember, this is a DSP. You get 48 sheets of paper. That is a lot of paper. All right, you get 4 each of the designs, the 12 different designs, and that's very, very cool. So what I did is I took a 3 3/4 inch wide piece by 4 3/4, and then I just put it through the die cut machine with the notebook edge die from Gorgeously Made right at the top. So I put the top edge of the die, it would have looked like this, the top edge of the die at the edge of the DSP panel. And then I just ran it through, and this is what I ended up with. So easy and peasy. Thank you so much, Inika. I appreciate that. All right, and we're just going to put this on. Hey, Beverly, thank you for joining at kind of a jaunty little angle there. I think this is wider than 3 3/4, Mary. I don't think you measured well. I think it's supposed to be less than 3 3/4. I think that's 3 1/2. So let me see if I can't fix that right quick like a bunny. Note to self, fix it in the blog. All right, I'm gonna wipe off this ink, this glue, just because I don't want it in my trimmer. There's the good news for you guys is everybody makes a mistake. Everybody makes a mistake, even me, or more to the point, especially me. All right, so let's cut this down to 3 1/2 wide. And why don't I just, while I'm here, double check the length, although that did look right, didn't it? 4 3/4, yeah. Okay, now we're set. Now we're cooking with gas. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's try that again, shall we? Pretend the previous 3 1/2 minutes did not happen. All right. Oh, that's much better. Isn't that so much better? Golly Moses. That's beyond so much better. Okay. Now, before we go any further, and while I'm still... You know how I said I couldn't possibly touch those before they got dry? guess what? I need to go get a lottery ticket because I did just exactly that. And it's going to be okay. I'm leaving. It doesn't look bad at all. I'm happy. But I did get a little on my stamp set. Oh well. Golly Moses. Yep, I did. I covered up that cute stamping, but it's there and you know it. I promise. You can see it when you're here. It's there. Otherwise, it's just boring, I think. All right, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment in basic gray on a piece of basic white. Creative opportunity, that is correct. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate that. I'm going to stamp this on just a piece of basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to cut it out. And I'm going to cut it not very correctly, not very accurately, not very sticklery, okay? I'm just going to cut it out. And if it's a little bit wonky, then I'm kind of okay with that. In fact, I'm really okay with that. I'm not going to make an effort to make it wonky, but I'm also not going to worry about it when it inevitably is, okay? Because I think it kind of adds a little bit to the whimsicalness of this card. Okay, and we're going to cut a banner end like that. Okay, and so it's a little bit crookedy, which I like. Okay, now, like a kid might cut it, exactly correct. Now, let's go ahead and put some dimensionals onto the backs of our not quite dry pencils, but we're going to make this work. It'll be fine. Put some dimensionals on here. And yes, I could pull out my heat tool, and after I get them on here, I may do that. Okay, and then we're going to adhere them to our card front, kind of randomly. It's like planned randomness. Does that make sense? Planned randomness. I think that's a thing. Controlled chaos. All right, so a couple of dimensionals on this one. And I'm just putting these straight on because I know where I want them, because I have already made one. But when you make your first cards, play around with it a little bit. See where you want those to go and how you want them to go on, because eventually your brain will say what? It'll go, there it is. There it is. That's what we want to do. Okay. And then this last one is going to go down here like this. All right. There we go. Now, I'm going to tie a little bow. Tie a little bow with some baker's twine. It's been 3 long years since I learned to make a bow. There we go. I learned that it's easier if you don't cut your twine until after you have made your bow, because then you've got everything to work with. And it just is much easier for me like that. And we'll cut that there like so. And then I'm going to use liquid glue to adhere it because I like to. Sometimes I'll use a glue dot, but I like the liquid glue because it doesn't add any dimension, and that does make it a little easier to put your sentiment over the top. But the flip side of that is you've got to give it a second to get stuck, because otherwise it doesn't stuck. And we'll put our sentiment on with some dimensionales. And this is going to go on a basic gray mat, like so. And so if you just lay it on, or not a mat, it's a card base. Put it on your card base like that. Then you can see if you've got, how far you have that you can overlap. So you can see I'm going to let this trail off of the card front, but I don't want it to be wider than the card base so that it'll go in the envelope okay, right? Okay, let's go ahead and pull these off. And we should put this on. It'll help you put your sentiments and whatnot on straight if your card stock is straight to start with. If you put it on straight to start with. There we go. And you remember, you don't want to use this as your straight edge, this DSP, because it's crooked. You want to use you want to eyeball your mat. Make sure you're straight with your mat. Okay? There we go. Okay. And then I'm going to add some Lemon Lolly solid adhesive back gems. This is my favorite, absolutely my favorite embellishment. They really are the best. I love them very, very much. Ever so much I love them. So I'm using a medium and a large there, and then just a medium right there. And that's our card front. And yes, the gray is a really nice popper. It's a nice popper. Now, we're going to do a bunch of coloring. So buckle up, people. Buckle up. We're going to stamp the pencil a few times. And I'm going to do the envelope at the same time, because that will save us a little time. I've just said time in the last like 37 seconds about 56 times. Okay, so I'm going to ink, and then what I suggest is that you stamp once in the middle, once near the top, once near the bottom, and then split the difference. Like that. And then on the bottom, we're going to do the same. So middle, top, bottom, or right side, left side. There we go. And now we can put our inking away. I know, I think it's very cool, this stamp set. I really do. And I'm going to be doing a lot of coloring, so I'm going to stick a piece of window sheet in there. This is actually from a stamp set. Probably, no, not this stamp set. Okay, so now let's color. We'll start with our ivory and color our wood pieces, the wood portion of our pencils. We'll just do all of them. Boom, boom, boom. Like so. I think this looks like wood, don't you? I mean, especially the wood of a number 2 pencil. I mean, it might not look like fine oak, but it definitely looks like a pencil wood. Okay. I don't think pencil wood is the right term, but I'm sure. And it's not the lead. It's whatever. It's that part of the pencil with the wood that shows. There we go. Okay. And now, I love it, Debbie. That's awesome. No naked envelopes. Okay, now we're going to go back with our light smoky slate. Now, when you're doing the edges of envelopes like this, I find that I get less bleed over to the back if I always go from the center part of the envelope to the edge. So in other words, I wouldn't come down here and scrub around coloring. I will do flicks like that and be trying to raise up that blender pen as soon as I get to the edge of the envelope. Okay? Because it's a little depressing when you get all done and you've got ink on the back. I mean, it's fixable. You just do a little more stamping. See, it's an opportunity to add more decorations to your envelope. But if you're not in the mood for that, then you're not in the mood for that. You know what I'm saying? So, do what you can to avoid having to do extra. All right, una mas on here, and then we'll get the card inner liner. And then we're going to, actually what we're going to do first is turn this over and make sure I didn't bleed on the back. Nope, I didn't. Yay! Yay! me. Ticonderogas, there it is. This would be a good card for a teacher, right? All right, here we go. This one's a little less stringent. It doesn't have to, you don't have to work so hard, because if it bleeds to the other side, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does preclude you from using, actually coloring in the blends kind of says, hey, you've only got one side of this card stock. You know how we always say there's always a second side, you can always use the other side? Well, when you color with blends, you can't, right? So you're committed to this side for this one, or a new piece of cardstock entirely. So today I trimmed back some of my hydrangeas. I've got these beautiful giant hydrangeas, and they are kind of infringing on our garden walk between the greenhouse and the garden. So I took the opportunity to cut some, and I brought them in the house, and I was trimming the stems, and I got to one of them, and I picked it up, and I'm cutting the stem, which is hard because, you know, hydrangea stems are really thick and they're hard. And I look, and looking me right in the face is a little green tree frog. And I'm like, oh, I bet you don't want to be inside. His eyes were big, like, oh my God, this is not good. And so he starts moving around on the flower, and I'm thinking, don't jump off, don't jump off, don't jump off. And I'm hurrying to the back door and moving the flower to stay underneath him. And he's looking right at me. He's pointed right at me. And I thought, am I going to scream like a girl and drop him if he jumps onto me? And the answer, I'm guessing, would have been yes. Fortunately, he did not do that. I got him outside and got him out into the grass. I was like, dude, that was a big mistake, wasn't it, kid? He was as unhappy about the situation as I was, that's for sure. Okay, so now you have 5 of these, and you can pick your favorite color to get the most times, right? So I put Parakeet Party in the center, because it's only going to get 1. And then I like Bubble Bath and Lemon Lolly, so I put them here. Now, Julie Johnson, I'm pretty sure you're going to want to color all 5 of them with the Parakeet Party, huh? And then we're going to do Lemon Lolly over here. Where are you? There you are. Okay. Alrighty. And now we have one more thing to do. One more stamping thing to do. I'm going to clean this one more time. I know, right? I hurried back in and did a much closer inventory of the rest of the hydrangeas. I was like, oh no, that's not good. Let's not do that. What am I looking for? Anybody know? Oh, the Bubble Bath ink. That's right. Yes, well, there was no reason to and I was afraid if I screamed, it would trigger him to leap. And he was really cute. I mean, you know, I didn't want him on me, let's be real. If he'd jumped on me, I would have screamed. I wouldn't have screamed. I would have done the, you know, that that you do when something is grossing you out. But he was smart enough to not leap off of there. And of course, Finn is like, what's going on, Mom? What? What is it? What is it? Do you need me to get it? I'm like, no, stay away. Stay away. Stay away. Don't make him jump. Please don't make him jump. And he was probably thinking, there I was, just hanging in this cool flower. Kind of smelled good. No, I know he wouldn't have hurt me. He wouldn't have hurt me, and I wasn't going to hurt him at all. That's why I was hurrying. Because also I was afraid if he jumped off in the house, 1, Finn would have made a beeline for him, or 2, we'd have hurt him trying to get him to put him back outside. And so I really just wanted to be able to safely put him back outside without anybody else being... If I'd been staring at a snake, I probably would have died right there. We wouldn't be having a video. You'd just be like sitting here going, where's Mary? Why isn't Mary on? And it would be because I'd still be dead in the kitchen from the snake. I mean, yeah, that wouldn't have been good. I would have lost him. That's exactly right. He'd have been somewhere in the house, and I'd have been waiting. And then I'd have found his poor little dead body, and I would have felt really bad. I would have felt really bad. Because he was just doing his frog thing, and there I went, got in his way. So, but it all turned out. I put him in the grass by the tree, and he hopped away. I do believe he was giving me some very evil looks, though. I don't think he was impressed with his treatment. The hospitality didn't seem very good. Didn't offer him a fly or, you know, a little drink of water, nothing. I just escorted him to the door. He's like, well, that's rude. Okay, so there's our envelope. Now we're gonna put this on some lemon lolly. See, that's right. Well, I don't have a cat anymore, so that wouldn't have been it, but Finn would have been, and Finn wouldn't have like been trying to kill it, but I actually believe swallowing a frog, eating a frog is what made him sick at the beginning of the week. That's what I believe. So I didn't want him having any more frog interactions. We just did not need that at all. Okay, so we're going to put this on the inside of our card base with some liquid glue. But my gosh, the hydrangeas are just gorgeous. They're I don't remember what kind they are, but they aren't the mop head ones. They have the cones at the top, and I swear one of the cones is like this long, and it's this big around. It's just huge. Actually, there's 2 of them like that, and that was just off the one plant that was growing. It had all the stuff in the way. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, that's not quite dry, so I'm going to be I'm going to be careful about putting my dimensionals on here. Oh, they don't eat the frogs. Well, Finn wouldn't have brought it. I think he would have swallowed it and then looked at me like, what? What? It was a frog. It's like a bug, only, you know, on the ground. He was hopping. Finn does not like bugs. I think I've told you that. He is not a bug person at all. Yes, they are beautiful. I love hydrangeas. They're my favorite. And so I'm so tickled. I bought 3 a couple of 3 years ago and put them in big pots. And they are all doing swimmingly with my highly expert pruning, you know, where I just go with the pruners and I just cut everything off like down to this long every spring or every fall when I get around to it. It's really expert gardening. Expert gardening. All right, here we go. And we are almost done. Let's be sure I'm putting this on right side up. Yep. All right. Yeah, I really, really like how that basic gray looks. It just pops the pink and yellow, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. All right, there you go. Everyday thanks, y'all. It's a really, really fun little set. And do not forget the gorgeously made bundle. Just get the bundle. You're gonna want the stamp set. The dies are amazing. Besides this one, you have one that creates a cut edge looking. It's a perfect label die and then some great foliage. So this is a really, really cool die set. And I do like the stamp set that goes with it as well. So I appreciate y'all putting up with me tonight. And I hope that you have a great rest of your week. We'll see, or weekend. It's the weekend, isn't it? So I hope I'll see you on Thursday and have a good one. Thanks. Ta.